Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first one is titled, I Don't Work Here at the Moment. Important to the story, I took some time off to work on a novel I've been writing. Seemed like the time to do so with virus happening and me having no immune system. I work for a towing company. Everything is appointment based where I worked because of virus. Makes sense, right? Apparently not. I've been off work for about 4 months now. I help with paperwork here and there, but that's sent to me via email so I don't have to leave my house. It's a good system. I finally had to leave my house. I realized that I forgot one of my flash drives at the office. It's the one I would add random notes to, like, I could end this person. Throw in this Uno reverse card and duck everyone up type of crap for the story I've been writing for some time. I stopped at the office today to pick up my flash drive. It's hidden. I wasn't about to call and be like, hey, can you go into the storage room, move the first aid kit, pull out the box of envelopes, reach in and grab my flash drive. So I did it myself, walked in, put in my codes to get to the back and went about my business. My boss knew I was coming in to get something, saw me, said, hey, hope you're doing well, and went back to work. Just as I stepped out of the storage room with my flash drive in hand, I hear it. The screech of an entitled witch. She was losing her mind because both the people who could help her were taking calls and couldn't just step off the phone to help this person. She also hadn't booked an appointment because the appointment sheet is on the door as you head into the back part of the office. I proceeded to take the side exit and disappear, so I thought. I made it through the shop where all the trucks are parked and left through a different door. This lady saw me leave through the side door, bolted outside and literally ran to the door I left through, screaming that I need to help her. I just looked at her crazy self and said, no. I continued walking to my car with her following me, screaming and screaming. I should also mention that there are some puddles in the yard because winter came and left in the span of a few days and it hadn't all dried up yet. She stepped in a mud puddle and fell over, screaming louder than before. I turned to see if she was okay and she had alerted a few of the drivers with her banshee scream, who also came to check on her. When the drivers were coming to help, she started screaming about how I pushed her and assaulted her. One of the drivers went and got the boss. He came out, asked what had happened, and she stuck to her story about how I had assaulted her and I need to be fired. My boss looked her dead in the eye. She doesn't work here and you don't get to dictate who gets fired here. Sorry. She wanted the cops called immediately. My boss asked if she was sure. She screamed bloody murder, repeating the word yes. He asked again if she was sure whilst gesturing to the 4 cameras in the yard. She legit turned white, got up, went to her car and left. My boss busted out laughing the second she peeled out of the yard. He also told me to have a good rest of my day and to call if I needed anything. The next one is titled, I Can Bring You a Bark Collar. Have been a faithful reader. Never thought I would be posting live in a small town. A really small town. I make one trip a year to the nearest city for the basics like shoes, eye exams, chain stores. And I got to observe a real-life Karen in the wild. In a store that was not owned by mum and pop. Quite an experience. Wandering through the bark collar aisle of a pet store. Lemon mist, nope. Vibrate only, nope. Sonic only, nope. And mid-bark collar shopping I got barked at. Karen, K, was halfway across the store. She raises her arm and does a limp wave thing and calls out paper towels. I was looking for an employee to help me free a collar from the security lockup. K, paper towels. Louder, but not really wanting attention. Me, looking around and reading each box. K, I have an accident here. Waves the limp arm again and looks around to get help but not wanting eye contact with anyone. Me, looking around and reading the card on the lockup item. I like this collar, might work. K, excuse me. She is staring down my aisle now and wording is just as I had imagined it. Me, I look behind me to see whom she is speaking to. I really turned around. And no one was there. K, paper towels. I need paper towels. Here, now. Me, I again look behind me. Look at her. Look down at myself. And think in slow motion as she enunciates her words for the stupid deaf employee that I am wearing a red fleece jacket and have my car keys on a lanyard. And it occurs to me that I have neglected a Karen and failed to recognize the limp arm summons for paper towels. Karen, yes you. There is a mess here and I can't clean it without paper towels. Me, I am literally halfway across a store. Karen is now doing the open palm pose. I just want my bark collar so I can hit the hardware store for a toilet flapper and then make the 2.5-hour drive home before midnight. But I also can't pass up my only anonymous moment in a year. I'm sorry ma'am, are you talking to me? K, yes. You need to bring me paper towels. Me, I can bring you a bark collar. Karen stomped her foot. Shrieked something about the nerve of me. Something about how she never. Something about fine, you clean it up. And she exited the store with her dog in tow. The few patrons who were unlucky enough to be at a pet store at this late hour all looked at her and at me, looked at the puddle and disappeared into the aisles, like they were afraid they might be made to clean up the puddle or be offered a bark collar. And there I stood, alone. In the silent bark collar aisle. I guess they only work at close range. The next one is titled, Donkey Punched by a Customer Thinking I Work There. This happened a while back, to be fair. I was wearing khakis and a solid color long sleeve shirt. I worked at this store for the company for a total of 5 years but had quit several months prior. I still can't help but offer help to people that look lost. I had just finished grabbing something from the back of a high shelf for a short, older lady when a shopping cart hits my hip pretty hard. Even though I was just standing still and it definitely wasn't my fault, I reflexively apologize. Being raised in the South, I can't help but start with, "Oh sorry, excuse me," and I sidestepped in case I was in someone's way. Crazy lady, "Yeah, excuse you, now get something down for me." Me, "Ma'am, if you had asked nicely like the other lady I would have, but I don't work here and I have no obligation to help you." I turned to continue shopping and walk away from this crazy lady, when she punched me in the back of the head, nearly knocking my glasses off my face. It had to have been a full force swing because she was wringing out her hand like it hurt her. Crazy lady, that got your attention, now get that down for me. I could still feel the sharp sting in the back of my scalp. My head was throbbing, the blood was rushing to my head. My face even felt hot. Simply put, I was fuming. I luckily had to self-control to not draw my concealed carry weapon, as to not escalate this further. Me, "I will not be helping you with anything, I'm leaving." I got another zing of sharp pain through my head and through clenched teeth say, "Touch me again and you're going to have a very bad day." Not a threat, mind you, a promise. Crazy lady just stands there kind of slack-jawed. I don't know if she saw something in my eyes or heard something in my voice, but she just closed her mouth and just looked at me. My friend who worked security there just so happened to see when she hit me in the head and walks up. "Friend, do you want me to call the cops to have charges pressed or just have management trespass her?" I looked at her, she was as white as a ghost. I knew the significance of having someone trespassed from the store, as it is a company-wide trespass. I explained this to her and told her I'd rather not ruin her ability to do decent shopping in the area. I know that some will say I should have pressed charges or had her trespassed, but I've seen her interact with a few employees in the past few months. I'm always there lol, and she's actually been a decent human being to them. I think she must have had some kind of mental break at the time, and the incident was like a wake-up call for her to turn a new leaf. The next one is titled, Wanted to Share a Cute Story from Years Ago. Hi all. I came here originally to share one of my own negative experiences, and know this is primarily a place to vent. But I also have one cute experience of a coworker being ridiculously nice to some lost tourists, and wanted to share some positivity, courtesy of someone far more patient and giving than myself. While I was in college, I worked at a catering company that operated out of the basement of a corporate center. One night, me and a coworker were staying late to get a sweets table ready for an upcoming wedding. Around midnight the power went out and we went upstairs to the lobby area to see if anyone was around and knew about the outage. All of the other offices were closed and we were alone. We decided to sit and wait for the lights to come back on, as it was pitch black in our kitchen without them, and we didn't want to leave all of our product to spoil in the fridges if we didn't get power back. After a few minutes, someone started knocking on the door to the lobby area. We were both kind of freaked out, but my coworker answered the door to a very confused middle-aged Chinese man and, in our parking lot, half a dozen other people with a bunch of luggage. He didn't speak a ton of English but managed to explain that the airport shuttle had dropped them at the wrong hotel, and they understandably got very lost wandering an empty business park in an unfamiliar city when all the lights went out. She looked up the hotel they were supposed to be at and it was a couple miles away. Because of the catering job we were in the middle of, she was driving her mom's minivan so we could transport all the sweets we were making. She managed to load up 8 very confused tourists and their luggage and take them down the street to their proper hotel. I guess on the drive they kept misgendering her. She had very short hair and dressed super androgynously, implying that she worked for the hotel, and raving about how good she was at her job. Rather than try to explain it all to them, she just stuck to small talk and let them go on assuming she was a man who worked for the hotel and not just a very nice, very gay caterer who happened to be there with a van when they needed help. She helped them unload their luggage and turned down the tip they offered. I just think it's funny whenever I imagine the confusion of hotel staff as a group of Chinese tourists is dropped off at 1 a.m. by a girl in a chef's uniform and a beat-up minivan, and then those tourists go on to sing the praises of the nice boy whose job it is to wait in the closed office building across the street from a competing hotel in case a lost guest needs a ride. I don't work with this person anymore, but I definitely think of her sometimes when I feel like someone is asking a lot of me. I still can't believe how nice she was and quick to help someone simply because they needed it. The next one is titled, Karen Yells at Me, So I Got Some Revenge. I was walking to insert ambiguous 5-pointed shape here market because I was going to get stuff for cake, and I put in my earbuds, both ears, and I got to the baking section, and knocked over 5 things of packaged cake mix while reaching for the frosting, because I have terrible coordination. I was picking them up, and I guess I didn't hear this lady behind me because earbuds, and she freaking pulled me up. She started yelling at me. It went sort of like this. EP, entitled person, don't ignore me when I'm speaking to you. If you've looked at my past posts, you might think, but you're 14, you don't look like an employee. First off, I'm tall. Like, 6 feet. And second off, I have long hair. Like, imagine Mirage from Apex Legends, like, that front bit of his hair, but all over my head, and enough of it was covering my face so you couldn't see it too well. So, tall, you can't really see my face, you might think I'm older than 14. She was saying things like, EP, if I'm asking for help you help me. I guess she heard my music because she kinda went off. I was holding the earbud that I took out kind of close to her. EP, are you listening to devil music on your job? If you know the history of Iowa, the album, based around when it came out, you know that it's just adding salt to the wound. EP, manager. Yes, she yelled that. Then the manager came over, and asked what was wrong, so I said, I'm sorry sir, my mum has early onset dementia and Alzheimer's, I have to take care of her, it won't happen again. EP, wait, no come on mum, we need to get your meds. To manager, sorry for the disturbance, she's having a hard time. Manager, no, it's fine, have a nice day. To Karen, you too, miss. The manager walks away, Karen opens her mouth to speak. Sorry granny, have a nice day. She huffs and walks out. I get my cake stuff, pay and leave. I felt satisfied. The next one is titled, I'm not a member of the rail staff, or a taxi. I'm back with another tale from the retail crypt. I used to work at a coffee shop kiosk at a train station in the UK, and I had countless occasions when I had passengers asking me for advice about their rail travel. I would help where I could, but more often than not, I would direct them to the station staff who were actually responsible with dealing with these sorts of inquiries, since it wasn't my job. Also, the information office was literally 10 feet away from the kiosk and was clearly posted with a large sign and everything. But, as you're probably aware, people seem to lack the ability to see and understand signs. I have lost count how many times clueless people would wander past the exit multiple times even though the exit was clearly marked. Anyway, most of these other stories are fairly unremarkable, but then one evening, one man took stupid to a whole new level. It was late evening and I had about an hour left on my shift, and I had been there for 10 hours by this point, and I was due back the following morning at 5 a.m, so I was looking forward to being done for the evening. Since it's a small kiosk, there would often only be one employee on shift. Anyway, this passenger approaches and this is the conversation that followed. This was several years ago, so it isn't verbatim. Just going off my best recollection of the encounter. Passenger, hello. Could you tell me where I need to go to get the train to York? I know you'll need to be on the other side on platform 2, since platform 1 only has London-bound trains, and there should be screens with train departures and staff over there who can help you, but I don't know exactly which train you'll need or what time it leaves. Sorry. Okay, thanks. I fell asleep on the train and missed my connection. That sucks. Sorry to hear it. I know, right? Can I get a latte? Me, sure. The guy then goes to the fridge to get a sandwich and I begin making his drink and I think it's all good. Just another guy who I've helped as best I can and a customer that I can serve and make the evening a little less dull since it was usually dead the hour before closing. As he's in the sandwich fridge, a train pulls into platform 2. The guy looks up at the train and then to me. P, is that the train to York? Me, I don't think so. It says Hull on the side, so that's where I think it's headed. P, okay, as he hands me his sandwich to heat. So do you know when the next train to York is? Me, I'm afraid not. You'll have to speak with the station staff. P, why can't you help me? Me, because I work for a coffee shop. I haven't memorized the train schedule. Sorry. P, are you sure you can't help me? I should have arrived by now and I really don't want to have to wait for a couple more hours. Me, sorry, I don't know. Like I said, the station staff can help you out. By this point the guy has paid and he has his latte, but his sandwich is being heated, so we've entered the awkward few minutes of waiting while it heats. We had an old panini grill and it would easily take 4 to 5 minutes before it would be ready. Nothing much happened for a couple of minutes when he speaks again. P, how did you get here? Me, I drove. P, would you give me a lift? At this point I should mention that where I live and work it's easily a 2-hour drive one way and I was not, under any circumstances, going to drive for 4 hours, especially when I had to get up at 4 AM the next morning. Me, no. P, why not? He was genuinely shocked that I said no to him. Me, because I'm not a taxi service, I'm a barista. If you can't wait for your train, there are taxis outside that can take you. P, why can't you do it? Me, because I'm a barista and I have to go to bed 9 if I want to get a decent amount of sleep tonight. P, I still don't see why you can't. It was at this moment that the timer went off and I said, "One moment," to the guy while I put his panini into a cardboard sleeve and handed it over to him with some napkins. This seemed to snap the guy out of his stupor and he just thanks me and wanders off to platform 2. Sorry, it's not a satisfying ending, but it mystified me how he couldn't understand what I was telling him and that I wouldn't drive him to York. I figured I'd follow his example and the next time I went to Starbucks I'd ask for a mocha and a ride to London. That's the job of a barista, right? The next one is titled Cottage of Weeds. So I work in an office in an old dairy that's been renovated for modern use. The layout of the building is bizarre. There are many shops and offices in the building, but there are no corridors to link or separate any of the spaces. Many people have to go through a series of rooms to get from one end of the building to another, but I am fortunate that I only have to walk through an estate agent's to get to my desk. Every day I walk through their shop, office space, and staff area to get to my own office. It's not ideal, and is obviously a massive design flaw, but it's never been a bother. Until about an hour ago. Today the estate agents is closed and I am the only person in the building. I've made sure to lock the door to the shop so that I won't be disturbed and, for most of the day, have been peacefully working away uninterrupted in the haunted old dairy labyrinth. Then she showed up. At first it was a light tapping sound. Like rotten old corpse fingers on glass. But as there are no windows in my part of the building, another design flaw, I tried my best to not think about the ghost of a jilted milkmaid trying to torment me, told myself I was hearing things, and got on with my job. But the tapping got louder and more urgent, and then it was the sound of someone trying to force open a door. Thinking that one of the girls from the estate agents had come by for something and forgotten their key, I grabbed my own set and headed through to the front of the building. And there she was. Staring at me through one of the few windows in the building. She wasn't from the estate agents, and she wasn't a long-dead milkmaid. She was a typical old Scottish crone with beady eyes, leathery skin, and a wrinkled mouth like a cat's asshole. Knowing that she had spotted me, I decided to open the door to explain to her that the estate agents was shut, come back tomorrow, preferably on my lunch break. But as soon as I opened the door, the old witch let rip. She started complaining about being left out in the rain. I'm surprised she hadn't melted. She had an official complaint to make and she had had enough. Enough of what? I wasn't sure. Cigarettes, probably, judging by her voice. But, of course, I soon found out what had gotten her so upset. A nearby cottage had a lot of weeds, and what was I going to do about it? I said nothing. I don't work here. The shop is shut. She flared into a rage at this and I was very concerned she might try to hex me. She started shouting about how I was being ridiculous and I'm fed up of this. I've complained several times and nothing has been done. This is your property and the smell is getting to be unbearable. Why won't you listen to me? Go over there and do something. I tried to explain again that I don't work here and also, since when do weeds smell? She didn't listen and threatened to phone the police out to the cottage, which, she said with a smug look, will cause problems for you. She then started to mutter something about good-for-nothing teenagers and their nasty habits, and that's when I realized what was going on. The nearby, unused cottage didn't have weeds. It had teenagers smoking weed. I'm guessing they broke in and are having a good time right now. And she really wanted me to go over there to sort them out. This time I told her through my teeth that I don't bloody work here, phone the police, I don't care, and she had the cheek to yell at me, I know you don't work here, before jumping on her broomstick with a huff and disappearing down the street. I'm glad she's gone, but I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. I know she's going to come back and give the staff in the estate agents a hard time. Poor sods. The next one is titled, The Time I Was Mistaken for an Employee While Visiting My Hometown. This happened several years ago, so the details are a little fuzzy. I moved away from my home in Texas for about 7 years before coming back. During that time, I came back for a wedding. Mum's work friend got married, and it was beautiful. Afterward, we went roughly to the other side of town, where the reception was to be held. This place was very upscale, at least compared to what I'm used to. Fancy clothing stores, expensive restaurants, and my favorite, the electronics store. We've got a couple hours before the reception, so my mum and I begin walking around the area, checking out the different stores. And eventually, we wind up in an electronics store, the one with a logo based on a doctor's natural enemy. At this point it's important to point out that my mum had brought a change of clothes for the reception, and I stayed in my charcoal grey suit. So while we are in the electric fruit store, I point out their streaming box, as I had recently picked one up myself. My mum is not tech savvy at all, and easily gets frustrated with it. But my brother at one point had gotten her to get a smartphone, same brand as the store we were in. I began to explain to her how it worked, hoping that she might give up her cable provider. They're really horrible, and those in Texas know of this company too, and go with streaming services. While I'm telling her about it, a man comes up from behind and begins talking. We will call him customer. Customer, excuse me ma'am, I hate to interrupt, but could I borrow him for a minute? My mum looked a little confused, but I turned to him and asked what I could do for him. He asked me tell him more about this streaming box. Since I was already mid-speech about it, I obliged. I told him how to link his phone, open up streaming apps, and even how to mirror his phone to the TV. By the end of it, he looks happy and says, customer, alright, I'm sold. I want one of these. Me, cool, let me grab you someone who works here to get it ring up. The guy looks slightly shocked, and says customer, wait, you don't work here? I chuckled a little and said, me, nah, sorry about that. I was just telling my mum about this, since I just recently got one. The guy understood right away, and apologized for interrupting. I told him it was totally fine, and he went to find a customer. About this point, I had to use the bathroom, so I left the store to find one. After I did my business, I came back to that store and met back up with Mum. While we were in there, I spotted the man I helped, talking with an employee, and he looked frustrated. The employee looked flustered, making me think she was new to the store. The guy looked up, and happened to spot me, and immediately pointed me out, customer, that's the guy the first talked to. At this point I couldn't just disappear, so I went head first into the mix. Me, hey, good to see you again, what's going on? Customer, I was looking for you. I went to talk to the manager to tell him to hire you. I laughed a little, and thanked him for that, but informed him I was only in town for a little while. At this point he seemed more relaxed, but the employee looked confused. Me, sorry about that, had to go handle something. What can I do for you? It's been a few years, so I don't remember the exact conversation here, but essentially he wasn't sure about one of the features, and the insurance the company offers for their products. By the end of it, he decided on the streaming box, and their 2-year warranty. The guy thanked me again, as he and the employee made their way to the front. The employee looked back at me and mouthed the words, thank you. I waved back as she winked at me, and we turned around and left. Not an irate situation, but nonetheless, some customer assumed I worked there since I was formally dressed and explaining a product to another person in the store. I don't use this brand's products anymore, but back then, I think working at that store would have been kind of cool.